Everybody has adversities. You can grow up as a billionaire's child and you've got to do something bigger than your dad. There's adversity everywhere. And I've learned that everybody has a story, and that story is important, but it's only as important as you make it to improve your life and the lives of the people you love around you and what you care about.
This is Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. We are the #1 business show on the planet with over 1 million downloads a month. Taking the BS out of business for over 6 years and over 400 episodes. You ready to start snapping necks and cashing checks? Well, it starts right about now.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Right About Now. We're always talking about how to get right. And when I say right, I'm talking about business. I'm talking about life. I'm talking about some of my best buds doing shit that you wouldn't believe, but we're going to talk about today. We're going to catch up like I like to do. I love catching up with my friends when they're so successful and we're so fucking busy running around. His name is Josh Snow. He is the founder and CEO of Snow Oral Care brand he started. And we talked about 3 years ago right here on Right About Now. And he's launching affiliatemarketing.com. And he's got his hands in a lot of stuff. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, Ryan? Good to be back and good to see your beautiful face, and excited to share some gems with everybody listening for sure.
I love all my guests, but like turn the dial up right now. This is where you're going to learn something if you pay attention. Josh has been uber successful. He's done the shit that's hard at the ground level. Let me say, people like to throw around, and it was cool 10 years ago to say D2C. Yeah, everybody started a D2C brand. Well, about 98% of those guys didn't make it. Josh is in 150 plus countries and rocking and rolling. And now back to coaching. Let me tell you, there's no better coach in the country for business and knowledge of what today's market needs. Josh, man, I just want to kind of open it up and get you talking and tell me what the hell you've been up to other than looking good and moving to Nashville part-time, it sounds like.
Yeah, splitting the country a little bit. Thanks, brother. This marks my 20th year as an entrepreneur. I started at 13 years old because we didn't have any money, really, to be honest with you. Being broke should be a motivator. If it motivates you and you stick with it long enough, you build things in your life that are worth talking about. For me, 20 years of being an entrepreneur has taught me a lot, and I've been very blessed to be the solo founder and CEO of Snow for over 10 years and bootstrapping it to over 100 million in total sales as a single guy, just me, and in a space that is pretty much impossible to get market share. But that was part of the point of why I started that business, which we can get into a little bit, but that was part of it. Everybody has adversities. You can grow up as a billionaire's child and you've got to do something bigger than your dad. There's adversity everywhere. And I've learned that everybody has a story, and that story is important, but it's only as important as you make it to improve your life and the lives of the people you love around you and what you care about. And so for me, building Snow, I burned all the boats. We've done hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales online, and I've never taken a dollar of distribution from the company. I really burnt the boats in terms of every dollar is going back into creating better products for our amazing customers and continuing to be a beacon of inspiration for who we are as entrepreneurs and kind of show one perspective or facet of what you can do if you go up against the giants and you create something cool in the sense that it works and it helps a lot of people. And if you stick with it and you stay in business long enough to become really lucky, things like that happen. In this phase of my life.
But isn't that the key, Josh? Yeah. I want to underline what you just said because it's really important. A lot of people get a little success and they pull out. They start playing with the cash bag. Hey, we did $500,000 in sales. The motor's running, it's going. And I know there's temptation. You want to soak up that success. Yeah. But the ones that make it and that don't, I think if they're being honest, is that ability to sort of delay gratification.
Yes.
That's it, isn't it?
It's most of it. I think you nailed it. Let's assume that all the other variables are good enough that you do get success.
You got a great product. You're doing the right things.
Sure.
But if you pull out money, you can't. You have to have that money to continue the success.
It's the betting on yourself. And famously in our generation, Elon Musk, and earlier in our generation, Steve Jobs. And we have a lot of these just massively successful category changing entrepreneurs. And you look at their story, right? And so Jeff Bezos borrowed money from his parents and he had the ability to do that. My parents don't have money. money so I could borrow that from them, but doesn't mean that he's better or I'm better. Doesn't matter. If you're lucky enough to be born American, you have half of it figured out. Believe it or not, no matter how bad your situation is, you do. And if you're not in America, you still have half of it figured out, because now with AI and all of the globalization that's democratized access to opportunity is significant enough to talk about. I didn't just learn this when I was born and knew how to hold all of my coins to my chest so I could reinvest. Making a lot of money, losing a lot of money, making a lot of money, losing a lot of money. If it doesn't teach you something or it doesn't craft and kind of sharpen your character, it's a little bit more difficult, because at the higher echelons of life, people want to give to people that they believe want nothing from them. So there's this kind of paradox. It's just like raising money in a business. You got to raise money when you don't need it at all. Someone would say you're the stupidest guy or girl raising money when you're making $1 million a month in profit. That's when you raise money, if that's your path. It's so tough to realize
you can't
that.
Be down and out. You can't be down and out and desperate and get money. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, you would think that, all right, this guy's having a tough time, or this girl's, she's got it going on, but something's off. Let's help her out. People want to help people that they believe want nothing from them, which is a whole paradox of like, well, what about the people that actually need help? Well, the people that actually need help in a capitalistic society many times are doing very well, which means you need to put yourself in a position to be lucky more often, which means you need to create your own luck. Luck equals preparedness meets opportunity. If you are constantly getting prepared and in your earlier phases, you have more time than money. If you use that time wisely, not on Netflix, Snapchat, Instagram, consuming, we make money through producing, not consuming. We learn through consuming. We enjoy and entertain ourselves, but somebody lacking purpose will drown themselves in entertainment. And that includes making $1 million this year. You spend $1 million. If you spend $1 billion a year in your lifestyle, which is possible, you got to make $1 billion plus a year. And it comes down to, what is the honest truth of what you're looking to go after, and what is the not just shortest, but most meaningful path to get there. And I think it takes extreme discipline, because you have regret on one side, you have discipline on the other. Which one do you want more of? If you have more discipline early on, you end up with quote unquote less regret, in the sense of, I've used my hours as wisely as I could. And so for 20 years, I've been developing that mindset. I wasn't born with it. I don't know all the answers. I've had great mentors. I've learned from friends and my own experiences, but we are who we're becoming. And I think who I strive to become is always a better version of myself, a better friend, a better boyfriend, a better leader, a better boss, whatever you want to call it, better to myself as well. I spent the first half of my entrepreneurial career chasing away from poverty, or the chance of not making it. And then the other half has been kind of littered with learning experiences and growth and all this stuff. And so now I'm at a point where there's a legacy component, I think, that shows up. And legacy can show up at 80 years old, once you've made a lot of money, you want to take care of your family, whatever it is. When it shows up, it tends to pull on you stronger than a lot of other forces. And so I'm in a legacy transition of my life. Not to say that I'm not going to start more businesses, more brands. I love this stuff. This is my sport. I love it. But how can I help everyday people all around the world, 8 billion of us, access the things that I had to build manually in a lot of ways? And so now with AI and all of this, not only can we as an organization build products faster, better products, more brands, all this stuff, what if we could help others? And that's why I've stepped back into the coaching world. I've been a coach for 15 years, but there was something missing in my life. And I realized that even with the TV show, even with the 1 million followers, there was still something missing. And I think it's a dopamine release that comes from helping someone else that might have been in a similar scenario as you accelerate that, like get there faster. And so that's been a big shift in my life. I also realized that there's a real opportunity to utilize the tools that are around us today, including AI at the top, of course. But what would a younger Josh do with all the tools that are available today? And so I've been able to reinvent myself for the 100th time. You don't have to ask permission to reinvent yourself. You just do it. I'm in this phase where I'm transitioning in the sense of realizing, what does Josh want to do when he gets older? And at 33 years old, 20 years in the game, this is all I've ever done, all I've ever known. Well, for me, if I can blend legacy with the sport that I love and create inspiration as a result of that, that makes me feel really fulfilled. And then I am a brand builder. I'm a builder. So I like to build things. And so if I'm building and I'm coaching and teaching and creating content and sharing, and then then I'm also having a strong enough work-life balance where I can enjoy my life, not at the detriment of what I want to achieve, but giving myself the leeway to enjoy life. That balancing act is important because I want to be a husband. I want to be a father. I want to also be a community leader. I want to continue to inspire. And I also want to continue to compete. And that's one of the things about our sport is Tom Brady at 55, he's not in the Super Bowl. But for us at 80, you could be president. So it's like you get to compete longer, which means you're racing a marathon, which means it's very important to reinvent yourself for yourself and those around you using what you've learned. And over time, that wisdom, your experiences and other people's becomes intuition. And that intuitive, if you listen to it long enough, don't beat yourself up hard enough because coming from poverty, making a lot of money, you go through these emotional journeys. And I've done years of therapy and all kinds of stuff to really coaching. I've spent millions of dollars on coaches myself, masterminds to realize that you're not alone. There are other people that believe in you. There are other people doing the same things. And I realized that at this point, there's a calling for me to continue to be a conduit for groups like that and help others inspire other people, multiply and live my life as healthy and as happily as I can and create that environment for my close family and friends and kind of be that without sacrificing who I want to be. So I get to be exactly who I want to be. I get to say what I want to say because I no longer rely on an income from any one person. I have the ability to create the life that I want. And I think that that is part of the American dream. That is part of financial freedom. That is part of intuitive personality freedom as well to navigate those transitions. And so I've been transitioning for 20 years from affiliate marketer to agency owner to exiting entrepreneur to oral care founder to coach. And like, there's just so much TV personality. And so I've been very blessed to experience all of that at a very high level in a very sometimes high stress environment. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And if you're intuitive enough to spend the time and money on yourself to develop, you will realize these things earlier on. And so for me, I'm still a student. I will always be a student, but I've learned things that I don't want in my life, businesses that I could start, because when you're that prepared, opportunity comes by like a river. And then it becomes the judgment to choose which opportunities are worth pursuing without being a laggard and just sitting there and idle and not doing anything, because that's also dangerous. So continuing to use progress as my clarity indicator and then help those around me wherever I can, create content because I want to share that. I've been doing it for 10 plus years, sharing what I've been building, the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's created an audience that I've gone to learn a lot from as well. And I'm not just a coach, like I said. So for me, right now where I'm at is how do I open up opportunity for a lot more people? How do I help those in my sport as a coach, help them excel so I get a piece of dopamine release, almost like getting revenge on a younger self of like helping a younger self. And I have students that are almost 3 times my age, one of them. So it's like, it's not about age. It's about the sport that you're in and committing yourself to it long enough to be a producer in your category, locally, etc. And so I've been able to have all those tastes. And now it's like, I want to create legacy. I want to compete as long as I can. I want to build better and better things. I want to be unapologetic about being myself. And so that transition has taken the last 5 years. And over the last year or two, it's been extremely kind of realized in the way that I live my life. And I don't do anything I don't want to do. I do the things I love to do. And I'm very blessed to do that. And I have worked for almost 20 years to put myself in a position to do that. And I wish I would have realized it earlier, but I've realized it now. And so that's what I'm focused on. Affiliatemarketing.com, Snow, of course. I've got my hair care line, Nala. We've got plenty of things, my investments, real estate, all this stuff. But for me, it's where can I add the most value on a sustainable basis that sharpens my craft, that allows me to compete and allows me to be present in my day-to-day life.
Josh Snow, there it is. The Snow Flow. That's what we call it. I could listen to you all day, brother. So much knowledge.
Thanks for having me on. And I'm always here. And anybody listening, at Josh Snow for anything for me. And then at Snow, SNOW, for anything snow related. Affiliatemarketing.com. Keep your eyes peeled for that because I want to teach millions of people to do what I've done, etc. And then if you're an entrepreneur out there looking to take it to the next level and you want to accelerate that, I'm more than happy to chat with you, my team. I've got a phenomenal world-class team that I'm very very blessed and grateful for, that we're going to help you one way or another. So don't be shy to reach out no matter what. Even if you're not a fit for the one-on-one, you might be a fit for the group. You might be a fit for all the free content we have you, whatever it might be. So at Josh Snow, at Snow, affiliatemarketing.com. And then if you're interested in any more content in terms of like TV show stuff, goingpublic.com. Very, very proud of the team and what they've created and what we've created together in getting the word out about the American dream, because the American dream has gone global and we're on a tour to help everybody reach the American dream.
He is Josh Snow. He dropped all the deets. We're going to have all those links in the show notes and on ryanisright.com. We'll have all the access there. Highlight clips. There'll be a lot from this. We will bring the Snow Report back soon. It won't be 3 years, hopefully just a few months. Josh, can't wait to catch up more in person. We're going to make that happen. I'm telling you.
Let's do it, brother.
We got to do it. All right, man.
Thank you.
Love Josh. I appreciate him for coming on. We appreciate you for making us number one. We'll see you next time. Right about now.
This has been Right About Now with Ryan Alford, a Radcast Network production. Visit ryanisright.com for full audio and video versions of the show, or to inquire about sponsorship opportunities. Thanks for listening.